camera. Hi there.
Hi.
This is Asha, aka Sarah.
Yes.
And Mark, aka Mukunda, here at Integral Yoga. We're actually in the kitchen, and you're in the middle of cooking your dinner.
I am, but that's okay.
And I said, hey, let's do a reading together, because we talked about it for a bit. And Asha's been here since, you said, 2015?
I got here in 2015, January of 2015.
So we realized we met around then, but didn't really get to know each other until I say like the last 6 months, you were saying.
And it's been a joy.
Oh.
We have so much in common, and every time he comes into the kitchen, it's hard to say goodbye and leave.
We get chat time. I walk in and she's cooking something. I'm like, what are you cooking? So we're going to do the reading together from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda. And this is for June 12th. So I'll start here. The topic is, it's God's child given in your care. A mother's first and foremost duty is her child. Everything else comes afterward. A beautiful soul has been given into your hands. You should sacrifice anything and everything for the sake of that child. Don't neglect your child to do other duties. All other duties are nothing compared to this. All other duties should be conducive to fulfilling this duty. It's not at the cost of this duty that you do other things. The world can wait. The child needs you. The world may need you. Take care of the child.
And if you know your responsibility and think, yes, God has given me this opportunity, I have to do it, and I'm going to do it, you will get strength. God gave the child in your care, and he will give you enough strength to fulfill that duty also. He is not a fool that would put a child in weak hands. You may not know your own strength. God would never give a baby to a mother or father who cannot take care of it. So realize that you have the strength. Believe in that and go ahead. Take care of that beautiful angel. Raise that child up into a beautiful spiritual child of God.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I don't know. Part of me thinks about there is certainly a beautiful part to this, but what about people who do feel like they can't? It was either an accident or some other thing, and then they have this child. So I feel like Swami Satchidananda is saying, nope, you were given this for a reason. And maybe that's true, but it's hitting up against that part of my brain that's saying, sometimes someone's not either fit or able, and that's why we have an adoption system.
I think that's true, and I think also that's why there's a community of people, and not everyone, I recognize that not everyone has that community.
Yeah.
Or we get so alone, or thinking we're so alone in that suffering, especially with a baby, right? Because when newborns are so needy and they demand so much attention, and I know mothers across the board who have a little bit of that postpartum depression, and it becomes very difficult to reach out to get that help.
I like your point though, about community, because really that little new being in the world doesn't have the ability to choose to say, well, I want to go here, I should go here. We have to do the job of really taking care and supporting its initial beginning, that very first encounter onto this planet, and hopefully it's done with love and care, and everybody wants that to be for their child, or as we would have wanted for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
To have that.
Yes, and I think it's also really important that we remember, just like for anyone who has their own self-care practice, sometimes that can get sacrificed in order to take care of others, whether it's a child or choose your metaphor for that baby or for that child. And when that happens, then it becomes much more difficult to take care of that little being with love. So it's important to recognize that some of that self-care is really important in being able then to support that little being as well.
It's hard though, because when Swami Satchidananda says things like the world can wait, you know, the other duty should, well, it says it should be conducive to fulfilling this duty.
Yeah.
So having a job, self-care, honoring your, you know, that has to happen in order to make yourself fit to care for someone else. It's that, you know, thing on the airplane, you know, you gotta like put yours on, and then still the best example that's used, you know, there's so many examples like that, but.
And also to know that in all situations, for everyone, that too shall pass, right? Like this time, this period of time will also pass when there will be a time when you can get back to that place of taking care of other things in the world as well.
I like it. Well, it does say the world can wait.
And I like that too, because, and again, I'm talking about specific friends I have or people I know, but there is sometimes that guilt of, well, do I go back to work or do I stay home? Am I a terrible mother if I stay home? Am I a terrible citizen if I go back to work? And just to remember that, you know, what is it that you need to do to take care of that little being? And if that little being is yourself, that little baby inside of you, right, that we all sort of have, or like that metaphor of that small child, what is it that you need to do to take care of that little baby? The world can wait.
Well, that alone, just to think about that, how much do our priorities seem to get a little off kilter because we've just gotten, you know, mesmerized by, you know, the attachments we have, and we think this is what I have to do. And I mentioned this in yesterday's reading, hundreds of worries. You know, I think about that, like how much am I spending time worrying about things that may not really be serving my best self, but they're just, I've gotten caught into this loop. You know.
And also, does worry really help anything? I was talking to a woman I was helping out with a teacher training, and she was so nervous about passing the test. And this is a woman who raised 2 daughters by herself. Sometimes she didn't know where her husband was. She didn't know if she was going to be able to pay the electricity. And I said, and you're worried about passing this test, and you've raised these 2 beautiful daughters? And she said, and you know what, Sarah? The worry, the anxiety, that feeling was exactly the same. So it really...
the body does register that in that way, whether it's a bear running after us or passing a test.
Right.
Stress. Yeah, so that's why self-care, yoga, meditation, right?
Right.
Things like that help get perspective, keep perspective.
And babies especially, they can feel our systems, and they're so little and so in tune with that. And so it's especially important that new mothers and fathers and caretakers make sure that they're taking care of that themselves, so they can have that calm nurturing for their new ones, their newborns.
And on that note, have you taken care of yourself today? Howie, we're doing a recording. Wave hello. Another person making food, taking care, getting the good food in. Yours is probably done. You better check it.
That's okay.
But thank you for joining this, and thank you for joining me for this. So grateful that this worked out. We've been chatting to do this, and then boom. All right, well, we'll see you again. We've got a whole half of more year to go, so we'll plan another time together.
Yeah,
this is great.
So
and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
All right, bye. Push that.